Hello and welcome back to Chairman Meal. The topic of today's video is slave morality, how Christian values promote pacifism. Slave morality, how Christian values promote pacifism. In today's video, I'm going to try to answer the following questions. Is our pain on this earth real? Is it okay to try and have comfort on this earth? Why do we think that comfort on this earth is given to other people, while the rest of us are doomed to suffer? How do we come to terms with this suffering, with the poverty that we live in, and with the want that we live in? And how do we rationalize that suffering? Ephesians 6 verse 5 says, "Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear, and with the sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ." Colossians 3 verse 22 goes on to say, "Slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything you do. Try to please them all the time, not just when they are watching you. Serve them sincerely because of your reverent fear of the Lord." In the olden days, black people endured slavery, but thankfully those days are over. But now there's a new type of slave-master dynamic that is just as bad as what was going on in the days of chattel slavery. The political class in Africa enjoys power akin to the power that the slave masters enjoyed, while the populace wallows in poverty. Any thinking man of the working class would note how this status quo is rigged and unfair. It is therefore necessary for the poor and oppressed to justify their plight and rationalize our suffering in the following way, which is called slave morality. Slave morality is turning plight into virtue. What does slave morality mean? What is slave morality? Slave morality is the kind of thinking that those who have power deserve it, and those who do not also deserve it. It is the kind of thought that those who are poor deserve to be poor, and those who are rich deserve to be rich, and that it is something that is just preordained. While the ruling class and the powerful seek power through wealth, because power is obtained through wealth, the working class and the poor rationalize their poverty as humility, and we pat ourselves at the back for not being like the greedy ruling class. While the ruling class seeks influence through fame, the poor justify their lack of influence and fame as humility and a lack of narcissism. The working class justifies its status as an oppressed people. We justify our own oppression as obedience, and we hold this as a virtue of high regard. Obedience is one of those things that are very important in African society and in Christian society. The ruling class is free to explore their vices, whether they be sexual or just the pursuit of happiness. But the poor and the working class, due to not being able to afford luxuries, claim that they are practicing purity through not exploiting and exploring their vices. While the ruling class has a monopoly on violence, the poor and oppressed justify their oppression as being meek, denouncing power and strength as wrath. If wronged, they justify their weakness and inability to revenge as forgiveness. It is only through such mental gymnastics that we can rationalize our own oppression, that we can wake up in the morning daily and go about our lives in this state of inequality. If we did not have this rationalization, it would be mentally traumatizing to face the grim reality that we live through. We accept our plight and resign everything to God. After all, it says in Daniel 22 verse 21, "It is the Lord who changes the times and the seasons. It is He who removes and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and greater knowledge to those who have understanding." We shortchange ourselves through blind obedience to authorities. Authorities that do not have our interests at heart. Slave morality supported by biblical texts has done much harm to the African psyche. Will this change? I don't know, but I feel it is my duty to highlight the facts. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If what I have said has struck a chord with you, comment, leave something. Let's continue the conversation. Thank you. This has been Chairman Mill.